Saki Muhammad. I would like to ask about what if Muslim Brotherhood didn't contest in the parliamentary, in the presidential election, and the other candidates like Hamdul Sobahi or Shafiq. No, I'm not a big fan of Shafiq. Abu Tutu. Okay, what would happen if they be the president of Egypt now?
Oh, that's a very.
Speak about the past or the future?
No.
What if?
Because the title is Egypt at the crossroad.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to
think for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this is thinking for the future.
Yeah. What if Muslim Brotherhood or what if another person will lead Egypt?
You mean to say maybe he might not even come from Ikhwan? Yeah. Okay. But let me get another question on this. Apa tadi? Nama apa tadi? Sakit. Okay. Let's guess. Okay. Thank you.
My name is Zulaini. I'm from Ikram.
Okay.
My question is simple. What is the role of the military then? Is it just like the policeman, or is it like the fire brigade?
Yeah.
Because I'm teaching in management, so I'm exposed to what is democracy and what is autocratic leadership.
Yeah.
So I just want to know what's the job of the military then.
Okay, let me get the first questions first. I think Dr. Alaa quite rightly. This is a hypothetical question. What if, what if? Kalau dulu Morsi did not participate in the presidential election, and the person who finally becomes a president maybe is not a Muslim Brotherhood person. I mean something like that. Let's tackle the first one first. Dr. Ahmed.
So now, I just want to say, one of the deputies for the party of Ikhwan is Coptic. The main deputy for Ikhwan party is a Coptic, Dr. Rafiq Habib.
FJP?
Yeah. Yes. He is a Coptic. He is the main deputy.
He resigned from politics.
No. He's still. Yes. So yeah, he's still there. So now, okay. Let me go to the question. Brother, actually, that was the strategy of Al-Ikhwan before putting Dr. Morsi as presidential candidate. That was their strategy. They went to many people, but they needed someone who is not Ikhwan, but a fair man and a good personality. They tried with 3 persons, and those 3 persons were judges, because we trust some judges, although I say the judiciary is not good, but we trust some of them. So we tried with 3, Dr. Tariq and Dr. Hussam, and 3, and all were by way or another, they were treated by the military forces, don't cooperate with Al-Ikhwan. So this is why Ikhwan found that the army wanted some man with military background. So Al-Ikhwan wanted a civil life again. It is enough, as I said, no more military rule. So what did they do? They brought one whose name is Omar Suleiman, who was killed in Syria. Once they brought Omar Suleiman in, no more choices. So at the time, Al-Ikhwan declared one very powerful candidate, whose name is Dr. or Muhandis Engineer Shatir. But Al-Ikhwan was wise enough. They wanted Dr. Morsi as candidate in case. Reserve candidate. Okay? So what happened? The military played a very dirty rule and removed Shatir and removed Omar Suleiman. That means we remove one from the side and one from their side, and suddenly a very dirty personality whose name is Ahmed Shafiq stepped in, surrounded by generals, and he had many crimes. He is a criminal man, and now he escaped to Emirates. He is a criminal. So suddenly the people found him the candidate of the army. So they removed Omar Sulaiman with Khayrat al-Shatir in one night. So what happened? Al-Ikhwan declared, we still have Muhammad Morsi and his people is there. And this is how Muhammad Morsi became the Islamic people candidate. So he came not because it was wanted or it was a policy, but the army wanted to bring some military candidate, and this is why the matter is going like that. For your question, for the future, no more speaking about compromise now. Now we have legitimacy. We have a legitimate president. He should come back first. After that, we can speak about the scenarios of the future. This is what to speak about now.
Thank you very much. Josh, maybe you like, or Maszlee, I think Josh, would you like to comment on the role of the military just now? Quick 1-2 minutes.
Very quickly, is like the role of the military is confined to safeguarding our borders, fighting foreign invasions, and that's all. They should not have business. They should not be allowed to run business. They should not allow to interfere in the political process. For example, if you remember, I think last year when, or the year before, when there was a birthday rally, and our army chief actually said, like, if necessary, we could help maintain the order. And that was totally wrong, because it should be the police that monitor public protest, not the army. Otherwise, we will confuse the role, the duties of these two different entities, and there will be a constitutional crisis. I can also give you another example, like in Thailand. The army would have their representatives in parliament, same as in Myanmar. In Myanmar, it's even worse. Like the new constitution would actually designate that 25% of the upper house and the lower house, the seats, have to be have to be reserved for military, for army officers. And that is not right. They should have no business in the National Assembly, because National Assembly is where we enact our law, undang-undang yang dibuat di dalam Dewan Tu. And this Dewan should not have the presence of the military. Or if you look at China, China is also a very militarized country. The army officers, the president also leads the military commission, and also all the armies that would have exclusive interest in business, in clubs and so on and so forth. Just a few months ago, I attended a function in Shanghai. It's a birthday meeting, and the organizers actually told me, we are in a very safe place, because this building belongs to the military. All these retired military officers, they're still running a lot of business with the help of government, and they still have a say in how the economy is running in China. You can see, this is none of their business. So, army soldiers are soldiers. They should be in. Of course, we appreciate their contribution. We should not criticize them without, any proper evidence or whatever. But their role is confined to safeguarding our borders. And if war happens, they should be in the front line fighting the enemy on our behalf, and we value their contribution. That is for sure. But this doesn't mean that they should run the banks, they should run our schools, they should run everything in the country. No, like in Thailand, they have a Thai military bank, right? In other countries, like in the UK, they would have some different banks would have different arrangement with the military. If you are a military officer, you would have a certain different accounts that may have, higher level of interest because you are serving the country. But the army, the military is not allowed to have your own bank. Okay, you still bank with the bank ambassador too, but you cannot have your own exclusive banks like what is going on in Thailand or in Myanmar. As simple as that.
Thank you. Okay. Quick one.
So I think it's not only the army who shouldn't get involved in business. I think even the government shouldn't get involved in business. This is the disadvantages of having a big state. I mean, instead of going for a big state, we should go for a minimal state. We're looking at the very limited power of the army. The same thing should go to the government. By allowing, by minimizing the role of the state, we could empower the people and empower the civil society. That is why I'm against those who are preaching for welfare state or whatever. It will lead eventually to the bureaucrats or the army who's controlling the state.
I think probably one good thing probably which can come out from this forum is that a lot of people in the audience are gets more interested about coup d'etat. Probably will Google coup d'etat and role of military and army in the whole world. Interestingly, I've been, as I said earlier, I've been traveling to Jakarta. You know, in the good old days after the September 30th, 1965, after post-Suharto period, in the DPR, which is the Dewan Perwakilan Rakyat in the Parliament of Indonesia, at least 2/3 of the parliament is being controlled by the army en bloc, you know, macam tu, en bloc, and they're really in power. So yes, I would agree with George that things have improved actually over the years, but still they are there. They wear different hats now. They are politicians now, actually retired generals, you know. Like as I said earlier, of the 9 capres, you know, calon president, 5 are former generals. Now, I know it's very late already now. I won't ask the panel to answer, but let me get 2 persons to talk, give your ideas, your opinion about the topic. Let's get 2 persons, another 2, last 2, 2 to 3 minutes each. Okay, one more please. Yeah, you want to say something? It is a special request, it's like a singer, you know. Okay, if you like to speak, say something about. Okay, so okay, you want to speak first, Aru. Huh? Okay, please. You say anything.
Okay, I think this is a very difficult question. You know, and I think I came here today also to understand. You know, because one issue is that is people are saying that we call it revolution 1.0, 2.0. This is to make our birthday people here familiar with. So, one argument is the first revolution, the Muslim Brotherhood were not really part of the revolution. They came very much later. Okay, and then the first revolution against Hosni Mubarak, they said the second revolution, the numbers of people who gathered, this I'm not sure, this is some of my readings, the crowd was much larger. I want to know whether it's true or not, because that would be really worrying, because how come the second revolution got much more larger people? The second question is specific questions, you know, I'm also seeking answers, is whether the second one, did the military hijack the revolution, or was the military part of who created the revolution? You know, this is a question which is bothering a lot of people. Okay, yeah.
Alright, thank you. No, I'll give one person. Harun, please give your opinion. You have a mic.
I'm Harun Muhammad. A few short questions. I've been following this mostly almost every day, browsing Google News, at least 2 or 3 articles, reading a few articles. One question is that what is the probability that Morsi will come back? So, second one is that, okay, he was sabotaged, that's here and there. If he can't manage to come back, okay, what can he do? Can he is daring enough to, let's say, to do like Hamas did, by, let's say, Hamas employing their own people to secure the nation? Will FJP ready to do that? Will they ready to pull the carpet with so many people, let's say for Sisi? Is he ready to charge him for treason, for undermining the president? Okay. So what can he do to that? What if not, things will go back to square one. The other thing is that, what is the potential time frame of this city? Is there any? I'm something like scenario planning. I'm looking at, is there an escalation? For example, today I saw they are starting. In the past few days, within last week, they started to move into the army headquarters, security headquarters. Then there is escalation. I mean, if there is no escalation,
then it will be a stalemate. And then today there was a news about they tried to opening a new front at one of the small city, which then I think there was a shot. They closed the malls. I forgot so. What is the time frame? Are we going to be a stalemate for next few months, or if you can give some insight, the thinking of the strategies behind it? I don't think you will to share, but let's try Ola, whether you can share the insight. What will be the potential move for the next few months?
I'll put it this way, if we were to really answer Arul's question and Harun's question, we'll stay here until 11:59. I don't think we 11:59. No, we won't. I don't want to do that. What I will do, probably both questions are a bit technical. Maybe this is rounding up by the panels as well. So maybe Dr. Alaa, you take 5 minutes, round up, and 3 minutes and 3 minutes, because the organizer is looking at me. Not because I'm handsome, but because we finish early, So these are very technical. I leave to you, Dr. Alaa, and then Maszlee, and then George. Thank you.
So now, actually, the interesting note I have noticed now, one question is about the past and the other about the future. So now I will be swinging between the past and the future now. But anyway, for brother, actually, yes, army has planned this Photoshop revolution. So this is your second question. Is it hijacked by them or they planned it? They planned it. And many evidence. They have planned it, and they have planned this revolution 6 months ago. And this is very clear now, and we have many evidence about it. So not hijacking, but they have formed it, they have planned. Actually, this is very intelligent remark you have done when you said Ikhwan has participated by way or another in the first revolution. And now, in the second revolution, they didn't participate, but they claim the number became high. How come? The number of Ikhwan is so big, but they didn't participate now, and they claim the number became higher and bigger than the number before. So I think this is another proof there is Alaa. We are in the front of Alaa, not in the front of a revolution. And number two also, actually I want just to make some rectify one point you have said. Al-Ikhwan, you said Muslim Brotherhood participated very late. No. Al-Ikhwan or Muslim Brotherhood participated in the first real revolution in the first day, but not officially. They said whoever liked to participate, go participate. But although they said we will not participate officially, 28 of the top management, including Dr. Morsi, they put them in the jail. Okay? Although they said we will not participate officially. This is why 25th they didn't participate officially, 28 they are there officially. So just to put a point in. Actually, for coming back of Dr. Morsi, we cannot reject this probability. It's still there. And now, all the initiatives coming from European, America, and the last initiative that came from Al-Sisi himself by some Salafi Sheikh. He brought a Salafi Sheikh, and the Salafi Shuyukh are playing a very dirty role now, actually. They are playing dirty game, dirty rule, actually. So he brought one Salafi Sheikh. I like him, but he is naive. He doesn't understand politics. So he brought him and gave him some things to do. One of them is to bring Dr. Morsi for a while, just to step down. Because there is a problem for them. Morsi till now refused to step down. So this is the dilemma for them. So all the American initiative, the European Union initiative, and the Sisi initiative himself revolves around bringing Morsi, and after bringing him without power, he stepped down within 6 months, then you make new election or presidential. So coming of Morsi is now something on the surface. Everyone is discussing about. But the people in the sittings have only one demand: coming of Morsi with the full power. Can this happen or not? This is what we will see in coming days. I think if the people stay 1 month more, now Egyptian economy became worse and worse and worse. The government couldn't pay the salaries this month. Couldn't. This is why they borrowed 6 billion from the banks, the interior banks. So I think if the economy goes worse and worse like that, I think they will not have any other solution, and I think America will give them order, bring back Morsi, as Hugo Shafiz came back to power after he was removed. So I think this, we cannot reject this probability. We cannot. Okay? And lastly, the time frame, no time frame. The people say, we will stay. My 4 daughters are there with my 2 granddaughters. Okay? And my son. I called them yesterday. You know, what will you do? What will you do? My son is in faculty of medicine. So I said to him, Ahmed, your faculty will start very soon. What will you do? He said, I will go and come back to the place. And 2 of my daughters resigned, left their jobs, and asked me, Father, what shall we do? We will resign in order to stay in the city. I said, okay, resign. I will send you money. From Malaysia. So the people are very determined, so they want to say. So the matter of the time frame, I think, because the people feel this is a battle of to live or to die. So I think, no way. If they go back, they will be picked from their houses, they will be arrested, then they will go to jail. So better to be in the street than to be in the jail. So no other way.
Okay, Dr. Alaa, I think what Dr. Alaa is saying that Morsi is still the legitimate president.
Yes.
I think America, as said by one of the panel, has got difficulty in trying to comment, is it a coup or what? Because if they say, yes, it's a coup, then they are in trouble. Because then in that case, you know, in England, it's a minority government. Now, Conservative Party is with the Lib Dem, and then Labour Party is a one-third, you know. Then people are disagreeing. Let's go to the street and demo. I mean, people don't do that in democracy. So they got a problem here. Josh, say something as a round-up or whatever you have to say in the question.
Again, very quickly, I actually have been following Middle Eastern politics since I was in university, because there was in London that I came into contact with Arab friends, classmates and all that. So I think I have a lot of, not to say sympathy, I think empathy. The path of democratic pursuit in the Middle East is complicated by a lot of geostrategy, political plays. United States, Russia, European Unions, and even China is trying to get a hand of, trying to intervene, influence how politics is developing in the Middle East. Earlier on, someone asked me why this idea of universal values could not take root in the Middle East, despite the fact that the interaction, the contact between the Middle East and Europe or the US is so strong. But I think we have to understand whether it's Egypt, whether it's Tunisia, whether it's Morocco or Algeria or even Turkey, and these countries, they've all been through a very, very difficult history of colonization. In the case of Turkey, basically the new republic was founded on the ruins of the Ottoman Empire and all that. So we have to understand, because of this colonial experience, so the Middle Eastern people are testing different models, trying to find a way whether it's whether they want to find it, discover the values in Islam or in secular tradition or European style of democracy and all that. But I think we need to allow them to do it for themselves. We cannot have outside forces trying to influence the way politics is going. They've never really been given a chance to test out the democratic model that we like to have. Every time when certain country makes some progress, there will be a setback. It's just like what is going on in Turkey, when my interpretation is like when Erdogan became like so powerful that the US became quite concerned. It's the same probably with Maszlee. They probably felt that he was becoming kind of like out of control, whatever. But I think Middle Eastern countries need to be allowed to test out the democratic model or ideas that they have. There should be discourse, there should be debate, there shouldn't be suppression, and definitely not military coup. And coming back to Malaysia, like I said, the way UMNO is doing now is trying to suppress one movement after another, and this is not going to do the country any good. And worse still, if one day Najib finds it necessary to bring in the army, I think we should all rise up against that. We should be prepared. They may, don't take it for granted. We have at least, of course, I'm not trying to justify colonial rule, but at least the British left us with a very clear system of, separation of powers. The army should have no role, and thankfully our army has been doing its job pretty well for the last so many years. Our army never really interfered in our political process, and we should make sure that UMNO would keep to this tradition. Do not ever seek help from the military in order to resolve a political impasse, because there will be more trouble, more bloodshed, and it will be really, really bad for the country. That's all that I have to say.
Mr. Maszlee, you have the last statement.
Following that, I would like to suggest to GBM and other civil society organizations here to come together to give pressure on our MPs and our government and our Minister of Foreign Affairs to condemn the coup d'etat in Egypt. So whatever they have condemned, they can never do that in the future. So I think we need the civil society. we need the civil society to speak on behalf of the Rakyat. And number two, going back to Aru, I think there's a few articles in New York Times talking about the conspiracy. I mean, it's not from the Brotherhood themselves who's saying about all this kind of stuff. But in New York Times, and also please read a piece by Noam Chomsky. A brilliant piece in explaining, I mean, he has been objective. It's not pro-Brotherhood, but he's trying to give a very fair and balanced evaluation on what's happening in Egypt. And another article by Esposito, J.R. Esposito. And I was asked by somebody just now saying that, they read from the news that Morsi is this and that, and I told him that's not true at all, and to have another point of view apart from the Reuters and CNN, BBC, just go to the website Middle Eastern Monitor, MEMO, MEMO, where you get a lot of intellectuals, a lot of unbiased political analysts giving their evaluation. Sometimes they might be harsh on Morsi himself, might be harsh on the Ikhwan themselves, but they're giving a fair judgment on everybody. And Robert Peace is not bad at all. Independence. No. It's very helpful as well. And I think that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have come to the end. I just wanted to say a minute exactly what Dr. Maszlee has mentioned and George mentioned. I think it has created a lot of interest in this line of understanding. I think not just Egypt, but I think trying to understand the overall geostrategic, geopolitical development in the world today. Now, I just came back from London about a month ago, and there are books. I'm not saying you go through Google, through Amazon, and I brought back this book, but this is, I bought it at the world's largest bookstore, which is Spoils in Tottenham Court Road, London. And this book, always written by Jean-Pierre Fillon, but but this book tells her opinion about what the revolution is all about, the whole era. And then there's a lot of books on Muslim Brotherhood. I think not necessarily what I'm having is the best, and I disagree a lot of the writings inside here, but there are other books. But exactly what Morsi and the Muslim Brotherhood is going through, as said by this Harvard Business Review, although this is a management article, is actually the Brotherhood needs to survive the disruption. Memastikan bahawa mereka boleh mengurus perubahan dan juga mengurus krisis yang berlaku sekarang. Ini memerlukan, this requires a lot of strength, a lot of thinking, maybe outside the box. I'd like to say thank you very much to the organizer this evening, but I would like to say this to GDM, Sertan. I'm very happy, although I come in your opening with Saudara Zaid and the rest, but I think as mentioned by Dr. Maszlee, this is an experimentation. We should not belittle this effort, we should not, because it has broad implication, because people are trying to politicize racial differences and religious differences, which actually is not that, really. I strongly believe this is overblown by certain people. And this sort of program, I think we should give a big clap to GPM for this. I think without further ado, I think we have to thank from all the panelists today. I'd like to pass over to the Yomin again. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good night.
Okay, thank you very much. Please stay with me for one last minute, okay? And again, a big round of applause to the speakers and the moderator. And I'm sure that tonight, and this is the first time with Arifin to be the moderator, and he has been so wonderful, you know, and putting everybody together, and then hear some of the voices here. So thank you very much. And I say that, you know, GPM is a new initiative. We only started in 2011, and we are walking steadily, but again, with a lot of efforts coming from the community together. And if you would like to know more about GPM, you know, leave your email and we will send you information. Now, last, I would like to invite the chair of GPM, that is Daniel Singh, who is also the president of Selangor Chinese Assembly Hall, to present some tokens of appreciation to our speakers and the moderator. Okay, first of all, may I call upon our friends from Egypt, but before he comes and pick up the appreciation, please give a thunderous support of clap to the people of Egypt. Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you very much. And next but not least, of course, Josh, you know, from Malaysia. Again, we hope that Malaysia will not have this crossroad. And in 5 years' time, our decision will be very clear. We are not going to be in the crossroad anymore in the next election. Okay, Aru, you heard?
Yeah, okay.
And of course, our annual Manchester United. You know, our equal Manchester City. Yes. Again, thank you very much. You know, I don't. No, it's not like that. And of course, to the very interesting and lively moderator of the evening, Arifin. Terima kasih. Thank you very much. Right. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say, again, through you, say a big thank you to Naha, because it was Naha who pressurized me within a day to put up this event tonight. Just within a day, yeah? Okay, thank you very much, Naha. Okay. So, tonight everybody, please take this with you. Think about Malaysia. Think about the global democracy. The world needs citizens like you. Thank you. Good night.